Okay, and now example number 28. What's different about this one? That's a key question that you can always ask yourself as you go through the assignment and it starts to look or feel more complicated and you aren't sure where to start. Just ask yourself what's different about what we're looking at from number 28 to what we're looking at with the earlier problems when we were successful. In this case, you've got fractions involved, but that shouldn't worry us. We are building on our Math 20 skills, and if you need some refresher, please go to the Student Learning Center or another help resource and get some extra help and extra instruction in fractions. You want to get solid on that so they no longer keep you from being able to do the algebra. But what's really different about this one is that they're both solved for y. Okay? But just because something's different doesn't mean that we aren't going to be able to use the same steps as before. Now, since one is rearranged and the other one is also rearranged and solved for y, we can just set these two equal for each other because step 1 is already done for us. It's already solved. We can just take that now and plug it in to the other equation for y. So step 2 is just a replacement. We can set them equal to each other. Because y equals y. So in this case, instead of y equals 3/4 x plus 7, we're going to replace that y with what was the first equation already solved for, -1/2 x plus 2. And then our next step says to solve that equation. So we're going to go ahead, we've got fractions involved here. I can take care of fractions by multiplying all the way through by the least common denominator. In this case, I'm going to multiply everything by 4. I'm just going to note that with a bracket. Everything gets multiplied by 4. So -1/2 x times 4 is going to be a -2x. Plus 2 times 4 is going to be a plus 8. 3/4 x times 4, the 4's cancel each other. You just get 3x. Notice the fractions are going away. That was the whole point, multiplying everything by the LCD. Multiply every term by the least common denominator. And then plus 7 times 4 is our 28. From there, solve like you normally would. We'll add 2x to both sides and I get 8 equals 5x. 8 equals 5x plus 28. Subtract 28 from both sides. I get -20 is equal to 5x. Divide both sides by 5 and I get -4 is equal to x. We've got our one value for x. Now we go ahead and plug that back in. You can pick either equation. Because there's a 4 involved, I think I'll go ahead and pick the second equation because that 4 is going to help cancel the LCD, the common denominator of 4 in the second equation, but the 2 would cancel out as well. So really either one would be fine. So when I plug this back in, I'll go ahead and just use equation 1 or 2. I'll go ahead and use that bottom one, y equals 3/4 x plus 7, but instead of x, I'm going to put in our answer of -4. And from there I get y is equal to 4's cancel, 3 times negative is -3 plus 7, and I get an answer of +4. And I can check those, I can do it mentally. We should get a y value of +4 when you put a -4 in. We just did that on the bottom one, so we just need to check it on the top. -1/2 times -4 is +2. 2 plus 2 is +4, and there's our answer. So you can check both of those mentally and then write it in set notation, your final answer of -4. 4 is the coordinates of the point that is the solution to the system. Okay? So now's your chance to kind of talk this through. describe what happened here, describe the steps, why you're doing certain things. You might have a slightly different way of describing it than me, which is great. You want to own it and say it in your own words. If you have any questions or you weren't sure about any of the steps, please note that and get some help. Bring those questions to class. And of course, use this time to make sure you've got a full set of copied notes so that these can be a tool for you as you start working on your homework. Now's a great time to pause the video because I'm going to reveal the answer for this try problem. Number 32 here on page 298 would be a great one for you to try on your own. And actually, I think maybe we have the wrong book number here. Maybe not. Page 298, number 24. I'll have to double check that one. But anyway, this is the system you get to solve. X equals 5y minus 3, x equals 8y plus 4. So pause it, try it, and then come back in a moment for the solution. And when you come back, you should have gotten negative 44/3 for your x value and negative 7/3 for your y value. If you get stuck on anything, make sure you make note of it, that you need some help, and bring those questions to class or to your help resource.